All right, good evening, everyone. You are all welcome to today's OET mock review. We had this mock done. That was last week, Sunday. That was 2 days ago, isn't it? Yeah, that was today is Wednesday. Okay, that was 3 days ago. We had this mock done, and some of you did well, some didn't do very well. Let's start from the listening. Because the mock is like the true test of it's like a true test of this exam. It's like a reflection of how the exam is going to be that very day. Because that very day, listening is still going to be the first exam you are going to write, followed by reading, writing, and finally speaking. So if you didn't perform well, all things being equal, that's how it's still going to reflect in your exam. I know some of you had issues with your network, someone like me. Some of you had issue with your network, and they could have maybe in one way or the other contributed to your performance in the mock exam. But all of you that did the mock, only one person passed that listening. Others didn't pass at all, and I didn't see the answers for some other persons. Yeah, maybe those that came late or maybe had network issues. I don't really know. So let's start from Julie Max. What do you think was the drawback? Because your listening was not good. So this is not the time for us to hide our scores or hide our feelings or anything. This is the time to come out and let's get this thing trashed. What do you think was the problem?
Okay, actually, I've been having challenge with listening and reading, and it has been an issue for me. But prior to that, my children were disturbing me, and I was having it coming up, but I was using my phone. So it's really contributed to my drawback.
All right,
I still
but
have
during your
problem
practice,
challenge with listening and writing.
listening and writing.
Yes, I have real challenge with them. I've been complaining and trying my best. I don't know.
Then you say your network also affected somehow, isn't it? People
Yeah, I
were
was
calling.
having incoming calls plus the distraction from home.
But a normal day during your practice, what do you usually get?
Of recent, I started using injection. I used to have 32, 31, 32.
So as you
But when I
started
was
using,
using the normal, yes, but when I was doing it from YouTube, the one that they used to send daily, I used to have 27, 28.
then 728. Even that 30 something, 32 you said you're having is still very poor, you know. It's still not a
Yes,
good
I know.
score to write that exam, because as you're coming in, just know that you're sacrificing like 3 or 4 for your tension, 3 or 4 marks for your anxiety that really affect you at that point. Just put that in the back of your mind. So when you are targeting, your target for this exam during practice will be for you to score nothing less than 35 in that listening before going for the exam. You understand?
Yes.
So I don't know how far you've gone with my tutorials on listening on YouTube. I don't know. I have like 3 or 4 tutorials on listening on YouTube. So I don't know how far you've tried to listen to them and see how that helps you. Because when it comes to listening and reading, it's more of practice. And what I usually advise people is this: don't be in a haste to, if you just practice now, you perform very poorly, you dump it, that one, and move to another sample text. You perform very poorly. You say, okay, let me try another one. You continue. You cannot make any remarkable progress with that type of practice. Do you understand? When you pick a
Okay.
listening test and you practice, let's say you practice out of the 42, you score 20. Reflect on what really happened. Did you have maximum concentration when you were listening? Were you having wandering thoughts? Were you being distracted? And then note those things down, bring those things out, just write them down, and then be now cautious of it and try to work on those drawbacks. Do you understand? Then the one that
Yeah.
you practice and you score 20, don't be in a haste to say, okay, I've listened to it. If I listen to it again, it doesn't make any sense. No, go back and listen to it again as if you want to practice it again and see what you performed the second time. If your score is not still up to like 37 the second time, try it again until you've scored up like 37, 38 out of 42. Then you can decide, okay, to leave it and then play just around the area that you didn't get, those ones that you didn't get, and see if you can get them. If you cannot get them, then you can now look at it through the answer and see what it is. Do you get? So the goal is to be, for any practice, for any one you pick to practice, try to see if you can score 42 out of 42 in that practice first before moving forward. Because if you don't score, if you don't really like tackle that particular one and score and see your drawbacks and see how you amended them or work on them, if you now move on to another sample task, what happened to you in the first sample task is still there, is still you. You've not changed. You've not worked on yourself. Do you understand?
Okay.
So there is not going to be any change. So if you like, you will not be practicing. And what will not happen is that if you continue to change tasks, practice, maybe you've done like 20 tasks and still you've not even been able to score up to 30, you now become frustrated and think this exam is not for you. Do you get? So, but if you are, by the time you deal with yourself with the first task and you've exhausted it, by the time you do like 5, 6, there should be a tremendous, a significant improvement. Do you get? So, and if you are doing this thing and you are really scoring well, it will be giving you more ginger to do more. But if you're not doing very well, you become discouraged. You'll be looking for miracle, because that's what you are used to anyway in Nigeria. Everything is miracle. In this exam, there is nothing like miracle. There is nothing like God helping you in anything. It's what your practice, what you, anyway, let me not go too far anyway, because I'm not on the side of always saying, God help me, God help me. I believe it's like garbage in, garbage out. It's what you garbage in that very day that will be garbage out for you on the exam day. There's no two ways about it. All right, that's fine. So just try and what I've said so far to see what you can do about it and see if it can help, yeah?
Okay.
Or have you watched my tutorial on YouTube or listening?
Yeah, I've watched, but I'm going to watch them again. I watched them
Okay.
even this night.
All right. Okay, I think it was actually 2 persons that passed, not that passed listening, not actually 2. Who is I think this person is using a different. Aha. Amina Issa, you didn't submit your Amina. Hello, Dr. Amina. Hello. Dr. Amina. Hello.
Hello?
Doctor.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening, Dr. Tunde.
Good evening. I said I didn't see your answers. You didn't upload them at all.
No, I did.
You did not.
I
It's not
did.
on that. It's not on the group. You sent it to me privately before. You sent it to me privately before. I told you that I cannot mark it privately. You have to send it to the group.
Let me screenshot it in the mock group. Then I will send you the screenshot. In the mock group, I submitted it along with others. Let me do that right now. I'll share with you on the group while I screenshot.
All right,
did that.
Please try, because I can't see your stuff here. Yeah, which group did you submit it to? The mock group, yeah?
Yes, the mock group is reading AFRH 2022. The one with AFRH 2022, it is my full name that is there. Amina Adoelia Isa.
AFRH 2022, that's what you wrote on it?
No, that is this thing I use, the paper I used to write. Let me screenshot it. I'm even looking at it here.
I'm even still going through the group. I can see every other person's work. I've marked it. I've sent all their results since. Was it yesterday, the day before yesterday, I sent you guys your results?
I was the first person that even submitted.
Can you imagine? I can't find it. The first person I'm seeing that submitted.
I'm sharing back to the group right now. I screenshot it where it is, and I'm sharing back to the group now. Oh.
Okay. It's very ridiculous. The first person I've seen that submitted on the group is Julie Marks. I'm seeing Julie Marks this thing. Anyway, let's just continue anyway.
Where
If you
Dr. Thompson, I was not the first person. Somebody submitted before me.
well, the way it will appear from your own side will not be the way it appear depending on network.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but I'm not seeing Amina's work at all on that group.
Okay.
Now,
Please,
see where
can you check now?
look at the group where you sent it. You send it to Plab 36 days group. That's not the mock group. Can you see the group where you sent it? I don't even know what that group is. That's not the mock group that I added you. Because the thing was like, what's happening that you sent something, I didn't see it.
Oh, no.
I mean, have you seen the error now?
I have seen my children. Oh, voila.
So it's not the mock group that you sent it. You would
Oh
have
my
gotten your
God.
results since 2 days ago.
Mhm.
Do you
Are you
get?
hearing?
So what I'm going to do now, after the review, try to forward your stuff back to the group again. I will consider your own. I will mark
Do
your,
I
I'll
do
just find
now?
that time to mark your own this night.
Oh no. Okay, thank you. Sorry,
It's
my
okay.
children were really on my head. I got really distracted, really.
It's
So
okay.
sorry about that. Please.
It's fine. That's okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Clement Precious is not around. I think she did very well in the listening. Yeah. And then Dr. Ajani too did very well in the listening. No, what am I saying? No, it's only Clement. It's only Clement Precious that actually passed that listening. Yeah. Dr. Ajani did not pass the listening too. It's okay. So is Dr. Ajani in the house? No, she's not in the house. It's okay. Ifeoma Annie.
Yes,
Yeah, what happened to your listening?
it was network. Network logged me out.
Okay.
Yes,
Because
if you
when I saw
notice,
your listening, I was like, when I was just marking that listening, I was like, these people, are they really going for this exam?
I was even frustrated that day, just as I don't want to start crying immediately, because immediately after that number 3, I was still waiting to hear the mother had this, because that I can remember that was the next question I was seeing. The thing locked me out. I couldn't hear anything again. When the thing came back, it was now doing on, off, on, off. Okay. From number 34, the thing logged out that I have to leave the Zoom meeting to re-enter again. And I was not getting in at number 42.
It's okay. It's all right. Opeyemi. It's Opeyemi there. Yeah, good evening. Okay. You have been on my neck concerning this listening. So what is you'll be listening to me talk for quite some time now. So what do you think is the major issue or challenge for you?
So?
What do you think is the major challenge for you? Amy?
Well, I think
Hello.
part A and part C. Hello. Yes, part A and part C. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Part A, really? Do part A, me, I'm still, because if you are saying part C, it's still understandable. But for part A by now shouldn't be an issue for you. Hello?
Hello? Hello, Dr. Tunde?
Sorry, I'm talking to Opayemi. Opayemi. I've seen your stuff on the group. I'll mark it later.
Yeah, during the mock exam, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
I can hear you. Amina,
Hello?
Hello, can you
Hello,
hear
Amina,
me?
please. Yes?
Amina, you've not sent the stuff. You just screenshotted.
Hello? Do you know what
Yes,
happened? I actually sent to the mock group. When I was screenshotting, pop-up message came up from PLAB. So it
you
now
did not.
captured along with the screenshotting. So I actually sent to the group, the mock group. That's why I
You,
screenshotted. I shot down everything. I screenshotted it and sent to you.
you did not send to the mod group. What you screenshotted to me now is showing Julie Mark's post and Opeyemi post. Your name is not in the what you sent on the group. Please verify this thing very well. It's not there, what you screenshot to me. Anyway, whether you sent before, you did not send before, but I'm telling you 100% you didn't send it on this group. There's another
Hello,
group
can you
where
hear
you
me?
send those things. So try to resend those things back to the group, resend them. Because the screenshot you sent to me now is not showing your name. I'm seeing Julie Mark's this thing. O is for Opeyemi, not for you. Yours should be something like DI because you are using your full name is the Telegram has a way of abbreviating names, and your abbreviation is not on that group as those that uploaded their stuff. You can scroll through up and down. You will not see any of your uploads there. All right, so let me give attention to Opeyemi now. All right, Opeyemi, go on.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. I said, I think during the mock exam, I was distracted because I was on call that day. I had to just run somewhere to sit for the mock exam. Then
Okay.
network issued at some point. Then for the part A, everything was just very fast. Like, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Yeah, before I could write one answer, the next thing was very, very fast. Like, during my practice, my score has been ranging between 30, 31. Honestly, if I've done it before, if so, then at some point I had network issue too. Well, basically, my challenge for the listening is the paper A, the part A and the part C.
Okay, that's fine. It's okay. Let me just clarify something. I think it's Dr. Amina was the one confusing me. Amina, that means you are using two Telegram names. You are using Amina. You're also using Clement Precious. Hello, Amina.
Oh, Clement Precious is different though. I'm not Amina. I just joined the review now.
Okay.
So probably you mixed our names. I've just pointed to where I submitted on the mock group. I actually submitted mine.
Yes, I'm seeing Amina's work. She submitted that day. I'm
I think
just
our
waiting.
initials is DA.
Why is now Clement Precious now sending her own screenshots to the group? I've seen Amina's own now. I think it was skipped. Sorry about that. I will mark your script
No, it's
this
okay.
night. Yeah.
No problem. Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's okay. So it was only Clemens Precious that actually passed that listening. So, baby, what I will, although network affected you, but what I will really, I'll just as what I've already said before now, do you get? You should try as much as possible. You will be listening and see how, because why we are having issue with listening is because, first of all, when we listen, we try to translate to, our brain try to, first of all, convert to our native language, process, and then interpret. You choose your answer. So you have a lot of work to do just to identify what is the answer. But if it is what you've been doing, you'll be listening to maybe to the whites talk, you'll be watching their movies, you are not too into much of African movies, you've been practicing, it makes it easier for you to really know when they say the answer. And if you were in the class, in the last listening class that I had, I actually mentioned in details the things. If you didn't attend that class or you attended that class, I will also, if you attended that class, you can go back to that video. If you didn't attend that class, just go back to that video again. The last class that we held, I think I focused mainly on part A, and I said we are going to have another class on parts B and C, which I've not had time to really schedule. So go back to that class. Those points that I highlighted, stating it clearly that if you're expecting for them to just blow out your answer like that, it might be a bit difficult for you. What you always do is to read, and then, because they paraphrase a lot, yeah, they paraphrase a lot in that exam. So try as much as possible to follow those tricks and the points that I highlighted earlier. I think that's the only thing that I can say here, because to be honest, there is no other magic that will be performed or any other magic that one can do about that listening, apart from applying those tricks. If you are only practicing without applying those tricks, without applying those strategies and tips that I mentioned, it will be very difficult for you to make any progress. Do you get? So if listening is your major challenge, give listening more time. Give listening more of your time. Especially for those of everybody, and not even especially for those in medicine. You need listening to pass. You need at least 350 to say your result is good. If you score anything less than 360, anything less than 350, that has already ruined your result, whether you're a doctor or a nurse. Unless if you are going to Ireland as a nurse, you can score less than 350 in one, and then you can score less than 350 in any of the module, and then for others, if you score 350, you've crossed.
Okay, please,
now,
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Okay, please, that 350 you just talked about, like what over what? What over 40 is required?
For that it's not over 40. The answer is over 42.
Sorry, over 42, sorry.
It's over 42. So you need at least 31 to get 350.
Oh, by God's grace, at least our children will not be there to distract us that day. By God's grace.
So you should also try to practice when they are not around, or try to find a way to make them not to be where you practice, so that you will know what you are scoring, not just waiting for till exam comes. You get. Yeah. Okay. Now coming to reading. Well, I think somebody scored 500 in that reading. 500 over 500 in that reading. That's like, if you score 500 over 500, that means you got all the answers. That's what that means. And it's actually very possible, although very difficult to achieve. Yeah, a lot of persons have scored 454. I've seen 2 or 3 persons, not in my academy anyway, I've seen just all over because I'm in different this thing on Facebook mentioned that they score 500 in reading. It's very possible because if you get it, it's garbage in, garbage out. Whatever you get, that's what they give you. Yeah. And how many of you passed reading? Okay. I think half of you passed reading. Why did the remaining half did not pass? Then let's come over to Ifeoma again. Ifeoma, what now happened to your reading? Is Ifeoma still there?
Yes,
Hello?
I'm here. I'm
Yes.
here.
What happened to your reading? Because this one now, there won't be any say there was distraction from babies.
No, there was no distraction from them. Number one,
Yeah.
the paper didn't even load on time due to network. I was 10 minutes late to that one. That was number one.
You
Number
didn't print the work?
No.
Okay.
Number two,
That would have been very challenging. Go on.
Number two, reading those things from phone is a very big challenge to me. The one I used to practice, I printed the papers, but reading from phone, I've tried it before. I see that it's not working for me. That's why I have to go and print the ones I'm using for practice. But another thing is that I'm having issues with reading part C and part B. Part A is not even that I'm getting up to 18 or 20. I'm not getting up to 18 or 20, but the B and C is a very big challenge to me. But reading on phone is a very no-no for me, especially those long books.
Reading on phone doesn't make any sense at all. Do you understand? To do that, this thing on that phone. That's why I have to, like, if you want it to be printed out, you should let me know for me to send it ahead time for you to print it out, and then it will be easier for you to really test yourself properly. But it's okay because the reading was really very, very abysmally poor. That's why I have to, like, call you. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're still having the challenge in reading, whether A, B, or C, I've actually made a detailed this thing, the tricks that you should follow both in that A, in B, and in C. What is now required of you is to practice. Just as I said in listening, if you practice any reading you didn't do well, go over it again and see how you perform. Don't say, because I've gone over it again, it doesn't really reflect the exam. Still go over it again and see how you perform. If you can score everything before you move on to the next reading this thing, to see why you didn't get that option in the first place. If you are doing the second time, see time yourself again and see if you can do better. Because the fact is, for many of us that will always have that belief that there is nothing that God, like all this stuff people always say on the internet, what God cannot do does not exist. What God cannot do does not exist. That stuff has been deceiving a lot of people in this current this thing. So I don't want to say that I am an atheist or I don't believe in God or this. I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to say here is that we should try as much as possible to put in more work. The work Mr. A will put in reading might be different with what Mr. B will put in reading. Do you understand? I personally had challenges too in reading. Do you get, especially during my IELTS, when I was writing IELTS. So all the exam that I wrote in IELTS, it was all reading. Do you get? In writing, I'll be scoring 7.5. Do you get? But in reading, I'll be having issue. But when I now came over to OET, I gave more time to reading. I practiced almost every day. I was actually practicing reading. Do you get? And surprisingly, writing wasn't even my highest. It was not the reading that was my highest in OET. You get? So I really strongly advise that any part you find more difficult, try to put in more distinct efforts to do. And if you're doing that, don't ignore other ones. And if you think you are not ready for the exam, you can always postpone your exam. It might cost you more, but it's better because if you write the exam and you fail, there is this fear it will bring in you and it kind of demoralize you a little bit. You understand? So I don't know if anyone has any question before we go over to writing, because that's the major.
Yeah, Dr.
Hello?
Yeah, Dr. Sosta, actually, okay.
Let's take it
Should
one
I go
after
ahead?
the other. Let's Ifama go first. After Ifama, then you can go.
All right.
Ifama, what's your question?
I don't really have question.
Oh, I thought you were the one that said hello just now. Okay, Julie Mas, go on then.
Hello? Okay.
Okay. Actually, okay. First of all, for that reading, for that and listening during mock,
Yeah.
see, I thought they used to give 2 minutes to check your test after
Yes.
listening.
Yes,
I
it
thought the
was
2
given to
minutes
you.
is after each. I thought the 2 minutes is after each.
No, not at all. The 2 minutes is after the whole this thing. And to be honest with you, that 2 minutes in the exam will look like 30 seconds. I'm telling you. Do you understand? After this thing, they don't give you any special 2 minutes again to go over your stuff. Before you start any of these, they will give you some, maybe in part C, they usually give like 90 minutes, like 90 seconds, which is 1 minute and 30 seconds to go through before the tape start playing. Whereas in part A, it's just 30 seconds that they will give you for each of the section. Do you get? But after the whole exam, it's just 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And that 2 minutes will just look like 30 seconds in the exam.
Wow. Because some of my questions I wanted to go back and something to, I couldn't do it again.
Even if they even give you that distance.
Secondary.
In listening, if you don't get that question at that point, forget it. If you're thinking by the time the tape finish playing, you would know what that answer is again, because a lot of things will have entered your head. And at that time, is your short-term memory you are using. You cannot use your long-term memory in that type of exam. Do you understand? And short-term memory, how many minutes does it last? It will erase.